Hey, this is Tiqqle, and in this video we're going to talk about the Mythic raid testing that happened this week. We're going to go over, number one, what was it all about, what was happening during the raid testing. I'll go over my specific build that I went in as Enhance. I specifically took time away from work to be able to spend time in the Mythic testing because I wanted to jump into a group and see what it's all about. A lot of people have been asking questions about how is Enhance doing in PvE. I wanted to get some hands-on experience, so I got into a pug group and ran it for the 2 hours or 3 hours that it was open, so we'll jump into that a little bit. Then I'll walk you through where my logs are and where some of the other logs are and a few things we've found in the logs. If you haven't seen the video already, I put out a different video about, hey, stop looking at pictures, about charts, about what's going on in terms of everyone's ranking of DPS over like the past 3 months. Instead, start looking at individual logs and make your own decisions from that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. If you haven't already, consider subbing to this channel. I'll be putting out Shaman content for the rest of forever, but specifically coming up on Shadowlands, we're doing legendary different builds and testing on stream as well, twitch.tv/tiqqlethis on every day 9 p.m. So I really appreciate it. I know 75% of you haven't, down from 85, so that's awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. Number one, how did this Mythic testing work? Well, Blizzard is opening up testing for particular Mythic bosses every so often. There's a certain schedule. There was some on September 11, there was some this past Friday, and they open up specific bosses, and they open up those bosses for fighting for about like an hour or a specific set of time that they need to gather the data that they need. This week it was sunstrider, it was Kaelthas sunstrider, and that was the first Mythic boss, and then they went over and did Council Mythic. So I was part of a group. I joined a Mythic, kind of just a pug group 30 minutes before, and as soon as it was available, we jumped in and started testing right away. We got attempt after attempt after attempt, and I'll put my logs down in the description, and it was actually a lot of fun. The first boss was totally about added management and a specific mechanic to heal Kael, get his health pool up to 100% or whatever the percent threshold is. We didn't get there. We wiped a ton, but it was a good experience to see, okay, this is what it feels like. This is the pacing. This is the gearing. The other thing you need to know is that your item level, no matter what it is, scales to 213. 213 is the same eye level that comes from the raid in Heroic. So it's like if we were going for the full Heroic geared group into Mythic, this is the pacing and difficulty that it would be. Now, the first boss is, like I mentioned, all about ads. There's a lot of different mechanics. I won't give you the boss rundown right now. Maybe I'll do that in a different video. Let me know if it would be interesting to you. But basically, you have to kill a lot of ads in different waves and different types of ads. When you kill certain ads, they drop certain things on the ground that need to be healed. Once those are healed, it gives Kaelthas a ton of HP. So that's one of the healing mechanics. You can also channel your life into him, and there's certain things you have to do to break a certain bubble to be able to keep doing the fight. And the pacing is very fast. So that's why you'll see in the logs that they only go for about two or a little bit over minutes or a little bit less, because this is a particular mechanic that kept wiping us over and over and over and over and over. And of course, I was with a pug group. I don't know who any of them were. I just said in trade chat, give me in a group, so I jumped into a group. But because it was AoE, I went for the Hailstorm build for Enhanced Shaman. A few other things about my build, I'll kind of just let you know. I did go double Wind Fury. I put Wind Fury in both weapons. Check the description down below why there's a video of why I'm doing that, because it actually makes things a lot smoother. But I did go double Wind Fury. I went the legendary for the Frost Witch legendary, which is consuming 5 stacks of Maelstrom, will reset the cooldown of Storm Strike and make Storm Strike deal 100% extra damage, increased damage, and that's actually like the best legendary for Enhance, like just far and above. It just makes it the rotation so smooth. So with this legendary, with Hailstorm, the first fight was actually pretty fun. I really liked it, especially because the eye level scales up, and as everyone's been hearing, the haste you start with in Shadowlands is terribly low, and even your characters, once we're like eye level 190, that we're running mythics with this and stuff, it actually is just not itemized that great. So I have 17% haste on my Enhanced Shaman when I'm just in Orbos hanging out. But when I went into the raid, it got scaled up to like 22%, and that felt really good. That made me get a lot of procs for Storm Strikes. It made things smoothen up a lot, specifically around my Maelstrom weapon stacks. And as you know, the more Maelstrom weapon stacks, the more Storm Strikes I'll be able to use because of the legendary. So because of all that, the fact that I was going Hailstorm was a great way to get some cleave on all these different ads that are in the middle of the room. So with that kind of combo, it actually felt really good, really smooth, and I liked it a lot. The other thing, I was dropping Wind Fury all over the place, making sure my teammates were getting that, and you can see right away through the DPS meters that are on the screen from these fight attempts, I was doing pretty good. Now, is some of it, it's actually not even padding. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is you have to prioritize the right ads down at certain times. But in general, I was just doing a lot of damage. And that's part of the reason why I like Enhance, is that it's kind of a melee hybrid right now. I'm able to use an ability that AoE shoots frost shocks out there. So it's hitting 5 different targets. So that's actually pretty nice. And overall, like the performance for enhance was actually pretty good. Like I was the top melee for the most part in many of the attempts. I was competitive with some of the range as well. That felt pretty good. Why do I think that happened? I think it was because the Hailstorm AoE was able to hit a lot of different adds, even though I didn't have to target them or be that close to them, because some of them could dash around. I think it was because of Crash Lightning and the buffed up Storm Strikes with the Legendary and the certain talent build that I went. And yeah, so I think overall, I think I did pretty good, and it was a lot of fun. The raid that was a really cool boss fight. It's going to be tough, going to be very tough. And I also want to point out one other thing about the boss fight, because a lot of you are probably thinking, dude, you were just in there for 2 minutes. Like, that's not really a good log. Like, that's not really a good representation of the data. Well, actually, I want to just show you this on my screen right now. These are the 2 logs, the only 2 mythic logs of people that killed the boss that are public. There's probably some, Race for World First guilds that did kill it, but these are the only 2 logs that are available. They're actually the same log. I just want to show you really quickly, and if you want, I can put this down in the comments. Ask me if you want this in the comments. But you're like, okay, I go in here. They killed the boss, and you like go to the DPS, and you're like, dude, Piglet wrecked. And yeah, he did it. He did a lot of damage, even though a lot of this fight is about healing mechanics and such. But it's like, dude, wow, that's crazy. Well, here's a group that did it. Good for them. And of course, you know where I'm going with this. Obviously, there's some wonky stuff going on here. And I'm going to do a separate video about this. But still, what we're seeing is with people going into the raid testing, they're stacking gems. So what are they doing? They're actually using a low item level gear that's 73, then with 3 sockets on it. They're then stacking haste gems in there, and then that is getting eye level scaled to 213. Because of this, they're getting an incredible amount of haste. Look how many haste gems he has. Holy crap. It's like corruption on crack. So they're kind of abusing the system of item level scaling, and they did fix this for mythics, but they didn't fix it for raid testing. I'm not quite sure why, but this is an unfortunate thing that we're seeing. So and if I go back, that was the first log. Let's go to the second log. It's actually, let's go in here, damage done. It's Piglet again, right? So it's the same group. And if we look at other people in this group, like let's go to this hunter. Let's look at their overall damage. Yeah, see, they're using a meta gem. When the heck there was a meta gem around? It was around a BC. The other thing that I'm seeing, and we'll talk about in the other videos, where people are seeing Azurite necks, Azurite backs, all of that stuff, which has a ton of has a lot of secondary stats on it, which is definitely over buffing you. So unfortunately, other than this, there are no other kills. These were done by people with buffing their stats up the wazoo. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now let's go ahead and go to the other one, the Council of Blood. The way you'll know if it's a new log is if it was uploaded after September 25th, which is when the testing happened. So there's a bunch of logs here. That's pretty great. So if we go, but I'll again say enhance only has, actually there's 0. There's 0 enhanced kills. There was no enhanced kills on the council fight. So, what we have to work with is just the one, like for mine, for example. I'll show you what it looks like. It's here. Again, I'll put it down below. You can see like these fights were only like 1:30. But if I click in any of these, like you can see, like I'm doing a good amount of damage. And of course, like I was, this was with Bloodlust, a lot of things, a lot of ramping damage. But, overall, like you'll see the boss fights happening, going on in the B roll I have rolling behind me. But we were doing pretty good. And in terms of melee, I'm the first DPS here, and the next melee DPS is down here. So in general, like enhanced felt really nice, very smooth, and my damage like overall was pretty decent. So that was the first boss fight. And again, this is the overall build that I was running. I was running with Hailstorm. I was running Forceful Winds, Storm Flurry, Hailstorm. And then I was running Earthen Spike, interesting enough, and then I was running Sundering. So that's what I was running for the first boss. For the next boss, the council fight, a lot of people killed this when it was in Mythic tuning before, and this time around it seems to be a bit tougher, I was told. But the build I went for that was this. I went for Elemental Assault instead of Hailstorm because it was single target focused, everything else staying the same, including Earthen Spike. I was left it alone. So again, there was no enhanced logs for killing the boss on the test day. But again, what you'll see in the logs that I have is that things actually didn't go that bad. Again, what you can see in the logs, I'm looking for one where we got pretty far, but we had some DPS that were kind of like, I won't say they're holding us back, but it's definitely a DPS check fight. But you can see, like, I was doing pretty decent damage and I was keeping up. But in general, enhanced felt really good. And I liked the fact that I was going the Storm Strike build. The legendary felt good. And in general, I just had a really good time. This boss fight was dance based. What you basically had to do is kill, there was 3 bosses. You had to kill one of them. Then he dies. He resets the health on the other 2. Then one dies. Then you have 1 left and you have to kill them, down. Certain mechanics happen between there. But there's also a dancing phase in them. You'll see it in the clips, the fight clips behind me. But yeah, so in general, I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on terms of my experience from the Mythic testing. It was actually extremely fun. You can see I was with a lot of different classes, but I was doing pretty competitive damage across the board. I'll again put the logs down below. And let me know, guys, the double Wind Fury thing, we don't know if that's going to stick around. Chain Harvest is doing a ton of damage. But I have to say this. The use of Earthen Spike was a good filler global. The use of Hailstorm and the fact that our haste got to a point with that scaled item level that it felt really smooth, and we got a lot of Maelstrom weapon stacks. Because even the gear I was using one of the PvP trinkets as a haste trinket. But in general, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know if there's other testing you want me to do the next time there is Mythic testing. I will be going in as an elemental shaman. I'll be doing the whole run as that. So you'll be seeing what my thoughts are, my feelings are from that. But in general, I think that one, I did good damage, and I didn't feel like I was bottom of the barrel fighting for a position. Two, I was dropping Wind Fury. I don't know how valuable it is. We still need to do testing for that. And then three, the raid was fun. It was actually a really cool, really immersive place. Now, we weren't going through the halls. We weren't doing the trash packs. But the boss rooms themselves just were really cool and really grandiose and really epic. So with that being said, guys, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank for all the support on the streams. You guys have been absolutely crazy. We're still waiting to hear back from Twitch about partner application. But if you want to come by and ask me any questions, feel free, or go to my Twitter. But it's twitch.tv/tiqqlethis at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time daily, and twitter.com/tiqqlethis. So with that being said, guys, we'll see you in the next one. See you on stream. Take care.